Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. And not so long ago, when the Republican politicians were really on top of their game, they were masters of using the right-wing media to do their bidding. These days, as the GOP flounders about, it seems to be the other way around.
You know, one of the things that's so frustrating is if you like your plan, you can keep your plan.
What the president's saying about if you like your coverage, you can keep it is not accurate.
Oh, really? You meant what you said? If you like your plan, you can keep it?
They believed him when he said repeatedly, if you like your insurance, you can keep it.
One woman quoted in the Los Angeles Times put it this way: all we've been hearing for the last 3 years is if you like your policy, you can keep it. Well, I'm infuriated because I was lied to. It's not fair. It's not right.
Republicans have settled on their latest anti-Obamacare message. If you like your health plan, you should be able to keep it. And today, they got a big boost from Bill Clinton.
I personally believe, even if it takes a change in the law, the president should honor the commitment the federal government made to those people and let them keep what they got.
Now, Avik Roy, senior fellow at the Manhattan Institute, author of, quote, How Medicaid Fails the Poor, and Dean Baker, co-director of the Center for Economic and Policy Research.
So didn't the insurance companies tell people when they issued the plans that they're going to go out of existence January 1st? So I just don't really see much of a story here.
That question, Avik, strikes me as a pretty fair one. You're Humana or your Blue Cross Blue Shield. You're selling a policy to someone in early 2013. You know that there's a whole regulatory framework working its way through. You also have some pretty informed folks on Capitol Hill and also talking to people at CMS and HHS about what the shape of those regulations are going to be. You got an inkling if you're selling a plan that might not meet the Obamacare requirements. Shouldn't you have said to the person you were selling the plan to in early 2013, hey, just so you know, this may not be around next year?
I think there was awareness among everyone who obviously follows these issues very closely what was going to happen in 2014. But I think the average person interpreted President Obama's promise to mean a plan that was in effect before those regulations kicked in on January 1, 2014. I'd be able to keep that plan. I'd be able to keep my physician network as is. And that's why a lot of people are unhappy about it. And I think...
but that is an answer to a different question. I mean, I think you're right about why people are angry. The question is, should the insurer who is selling you a plan, they know the provision of which is contingent upon a regulatory process they are following very closely and at a great cost, shouldn't they tell you, hey, buddy, check it out. We're going to sell you this, but it might not be here.
You know, we could mandate that every American read my blog and know this in 2010, but of course that's not how politics works, right? People don't necessarily know how it impacts them until the year comes in. And I think the more important point is, look, I think if people's plans were being canceled and they were being replaced by ACA plans that truly were better and truly were more affordable, then this wouldn't be an issue. Right. And I think for the people who benefit from the subsidies, that hopefully eventually will be their outcome. But
right.
For a lot of the people, the middle class and upper middle class people who are going to have higher premiums, they didn't think they were freeloading in the old system. They didn't think that they were getting a free ride. They thought their health insurance was pretty expensive in 2013, 2012, and they're seeing these big increases of 40%, 50%, 70%.
Well, and we should be clear, we just still don't know what the numbers are, Dean, on that. But I think your point, Dean, about you know, there's no way the president could even promise you would keep your doctor either. I mean, the big issue here is there any conception of health reform worthy of the name that would have kept every one of the health insurance plans existing in America when it was passed or went into effect stay in effect? Is that a possible outcome?
No, I mean, the only way you could have done that is if you literally had President Obama take over, nationalize the insurance industry. And I know a lot of Republicans have accused him of that, but the reality is he's not done that. So what that means is insurance companies change plans. You know, we have insurance at the Center for Economic and Policy Research. We've had our plans dropped. Nothing to do with Obamacare. This happened years ago, before it was even legislation. Insurance companies change plans all the time. So I don't know what someone could have thought if they thought President Obama somehow was guaranteeing them that a plan that was in effect 2010 or, you know, for that matter 2013 would stay in effect or in perpetuity. You know, he couldn't do that unless he took over the market.
One point I'll make in the president's defense is this. Any conservative reform of the health care system would also result in changes to the health insurance market. And I think one risk for Republicans in being so vigorous in defending the status quo ante pre-ACA is that if they ever have the opportunity to institute reforms of their own, this could come back to bite them.
And one of the big ones, Wyden Bennett, for instance, which got a tremendous amount of traction on sort of center-right wonk circles, which is like about 4 people. But that would have gotten rid of the preferred tax treatment that employer-based health insurance has right now, that would be a huge change. You want to see some, like, you know, nightly news packages about that happening, you would see them, right?
Well, the Cadillac tax in the ACA does that.
Right.
So in a sense, if any conservative reform that happens now post ACA probably wouldn't be as disruptive on that specific point, but it would be disruptive potentially on a lot of other areas.
Avik Roy from the Manhattan Institute, Dean Baker from the Center for Economic and Policy Research. Thank you both, gentlemen.